Castle, and today we'll be exploring this ancient fortress from William the Conqueror in 1068 to being besieged in the English Civil War to now being one of the most popular tourist destinations in the entire UK. Let's get into it. In the Second English Civil War it was besieged, but then it was relieved by the Earl of Essex.
I destroyed the Anglo-Saxons at the Battle of Hastings and claimed my rightful title, King of England. Whilst crushing the resistance in the north, I commanded that a Warwick Castle be built at Warwick in case I needed to retreat. Of course, I did not.
In the English Civil War, it was besieged by royalist forces, but
the peasants held off the attackers until the Earl of Warwick could arrive with his men.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
How are we going to do that?
We're just servants. We don't know how to shoot that thing there.
These are the dungeons. Many prisoners and enemies of England spent their final moments here. It's smelly and it's horrible. This is below the castle itself. Then in the 17 and 1800s, it was turned into a royal house for many families of nobility to stay. Queen Victoria famously visited in the early 1900s, and she quite liked it, reporters say. Many people in medieval times would use birds of prey, such as falcons, as entertainment.
They were primarily used by the royalty and nobility, as falconry was a rare skill and hardly any could do it.
Now, with cannons being introduced into the army, castle walls were forced to become thicker. This meant that trebuchet attacks became less effective.
A trebuchet was a large catapult almost, with the wheel right at the bottom being how they lowered the arm. When the arm was lowered, rocks would be deposited into the thing at the top, but they've got rid of that. And then, they used to secure the arm backwards instead of just throwing it. They would use a pin and ram it into the wood at the bottom. Then, after taking out the pin, they'd say trebuchet live, and it would fire quite a few hundred feet.
The castle is currently owned by Merlin Entertainment Group, but its first owner was William the Conqueror. And when William the Conqueror took over, then he made it a Moss and Bailey castle. What happened was over the next 200 years, it was upgraded into a stone keep castle. It saw many sieges throughout the years, the most prominent being in the English Civil Wars, where it withstood several guns and artillery fire. The Beaumonts took over and had 6 earls lasting almost 200 years, until new families were introduced. It was besieged several times, as I mentioned, and several of these earls were actually killed in combat. Some of these other famous ones, who did a lot, were Thomas de Beauchamp, Roger de Beaumont, and Henry de Beaumont. We explored from the early thousands up until 2023. It's a popular tourist destination. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to KTS News Knight and History Made Simple, link in the description. Goodbye.